For as long as I can remember, I've had trouble sleeping, the kind of trouble where you lie awake for hours, staring at the ceiling, feeling like your mind is racing while the rest of the world sleeps. To pass the time, I'd often turn on the TV late at night, keeping the volume low and flipping through the channels. When I moved into a new apartment last summer, my insomnia got worse. I wasn't used to the place yet. The strange creaks and groans, the hum of the refrigerator, the occasional muffled voices of my neighbors. The walls were thin enough that I could hear someone coughing in the unit next to mine. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps echoing in the hallway at odd hours, but when I looked, no one was ever there. It was a lonely place, but it was cheap, and I figured I'd get used to it eventually. One night, unable to sleep, I turned on the TV and started flipping through the channels. There weren't many, just the basic local ones that came with the outdated cable package my landlord provided. Most were boring news programs or reruns of old sitcoms. But as I was scrolling, I landed on Channel 26. At first it was just static, black and white snow crackling faintly. I was about to move on when something caught my eye. In the middle of the static, there was movement. Not the random flickers you'd expect, but deliberate shapes forming and dissolving like shadows in a fog. I leaned closer, squinting at the screen. The shapes coalesced into a figure. It was a man, or at least it looked like one. He was tall and thin, with a gaunt face that seemed stretched too tightly over his skull. His eyes were black voids, and his mouth hung open in a twisted grimace, like he was screaming silently. I felt my stomach drop. I told myself it was just interference, a trick of the light. But then he moved. The man stepped closer, his image growing clearer through the static, and then he did something that sent a jolt of terror through me. He waved. I turned off the TV so quickly I almost dropped the remote. My heart was pounding, my hands shaking.